Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Sai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Swamiye Saranamayappa. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Actonville TV. If you are watching this channel for the first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it already. This is The Journey, a show about exploring Hinduism as a whole. I'm your host, Kimera, Heeralal, and if you'd like to interact with us in studio today, please do so with the contact details that you'll find at the bottom right of the screen right there, or you could use the bottom column where it says live chat. Now today's show is part 3 of the origins of the Vedas. Oh yeah? Okay. So it's episode 48. Now if you missed part 1 and 2, you can jump back to, well, episodes 46 and 47. Oh, by the way, happy Friday. For those of you who are like, why isn't she wearing her traditional and cultural wear? Well, I am wearing red to represent Lakshmi, as it's Lakshmi's day. It's Friday. Alright, so it is a little cold, and if you guys could find or sponsor an outfit that is well, for winter, please do help us, as it is freezing cold in the winter, and especially in our studio. Alright, so let's get to it as we're talking about the origins of the Vedas, part 3, but we're not really talking about the actual origins now. We're going to go a little bit further in depth as this is the part 3 show of the origins of the Vedas. So stay tuned for that as we get kicking up our show and starting off our show. And it is a Friday, and you are sitting in your comfies wherever you might be. Let's open up the show with Devin, Nalisha, and Navashni with Gajavadana Gananada. Here we go. Performing for us and opening up our show with Gajavadana Gananada. Beautiful song. And what a way to open up the show, like you open up your prayers, yeah? Alright, so today we're talking about the origins of the Vedas part 3. Let's just quickly, for those of you who missed all the shows and are watching this for the first time, subscribe to the channel firstly. Alright, so let's quickly just go through the brief, right? So now the origins of the Hinduism rather, like most scholars actually believe that Hinduism started somewhere between the 2300 BC and 1500 BC. We mentioned that before in the other shows. Now this was in the Indus Valley, now near modern day Pakistan, which we mentioned before. But many Hindus argue that their faith is timeless and has always existed. Now, unlike other religions, Hinduism has no one founder, but is instead a fusion of many and various beliefs. Now, around 1500 BC, the Indo-Aryan people migrated to the Indus Valley, and their language and culture blended with that of the indigenous people living in the region. Now, there's some debate over who influenced whom more during this time, right? But the period when the Vedas were composed became known as the Vedic period. Now, it also lasted from about 1500 BC to 500 BC. Rituals such as sacrifices and chanting were common in the Vedic period. Now, the epic Puranic and classic periods took place between 500 BC and AD 500. Now, Hindus began to emphasize that the worship of deities, especially Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Devi. Now, the concept of Dharma was also introduced in new texts. Now, and there's also texts and other faiths, and such as Buddhism and Jainism. This was spread rapidly and wildly. Now, if you look at Buddhism and in Hinduism, right? Let's quickly look at that. It's a short piece of information. Now, Hinduism actually canvas Buddhism as it's quite similar and almost the same. But Hinduism and Buddhism have many similarities. Now, Buddhism, in fact, arose out of Hinduism, if you didn't know. Now, if both actually believe in reincarnation, all right, both believe in karma, and that a life of devotion and honor is a path to salvation and enlightenment. Now, but the same key differences actually exist between the two religions. Buddhism rejects the caste system of the Hinduism and does away with the rituals as well. The priesthood, and also not forgetting the gods that are integral to the Hindu faith. So you'll notice it's only similar with what I've mentioned before, which was they believe in reincarnation like we do. They believe in karma like we do, and they also believe that of life, of devotion and honor is a path to salvation and enlightenment. Now let's move to the medieval and the modern Hindu history, okay? But before we do, I want you to interact with us in studio today. Stay where you are. We'll come back straight after this commercial break. Vanakkam. Namaste, Namaskaram, Sairam, Jai Shri Ram, Swami Saranam. Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, you are currently streaming live with us in the Nation South on Atonville TV. This is The Journey, exploring Hinduism as a whole. I'm your host, Kimera, Heeralal. And if you'd like to interact with us in studio today, please do so with the contact details which you'll find at the bottom right of your screen, or you could use the bottom column right there and interact with us as we are live. Most of you must be like, where's Dashni Manikam? She's at a prayer this evening, so unfortunately she couldn't be with us. So shout out to her. May her blessings fall upon her and us and everyone that she loves and knows. Look at me hijacking prayers and blessings, yeah? Alright, so as we are talking about the origins of the Vedas part 3 today, let's look at Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, for those of you who know him, I'm sure everybody in this world knows him. Okay, now between 1757 and 1947, the British actually controlled India. Now, most of us know that. Now, at first, the new rulers allowed Hindus to practice their religion, and without any interference. But later, the Christian missionaries sought to convert and westernize all the people. Now, many reformers emerged during the British period. Okay. So the well-known politician and peace activist Mahatma Gandhi led a movement that pushed for India's independence. Okay, and the partition of India occurred in 1947. Now the British India was split into what are now the independent nations of India and Pakistan, and Hinduism became the major religion of India. Now starting in the 1960s, many Hindus migrated to North America and Britain, spreading their faith and philosophies to the Western world. Now, Hindus also worship many gods and goddesses in addition to Brahman, who are also believed to be the supreme god force and who represents all things. Now, some of the most prominent deities include, you know, your Brahma, you know Vishnu, you know Shiva, you know Devi, you know Krishna, you know Lakshmi, and you know Saraswati. Now, if you look at Brahma is the god that's responsible for the creation of the world and all living things, right? Then you look at Lord Vishnu, and he is, the god that preserves and protects the universe. Then you look at Shiva, and Shiva's like the god that destroys the universe in order to recreate it. Now, Devi is the goddess that fights to restore Dharma, okay? Krishna is the god of compassion and tenderness and love. And Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and purity. Not forgetting Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Now, that was just putting it in a nutshell. We're going to do each deity when the time comes, and we're going to do them in depth so you can understand everything about these deities or gods or goddesses, right? Now, let's look at the places of worship. For those of you who don't know about the places of worship, here's a little insight for you guys. Okay, so we're looking at the Hindu worship.